From the nation's capital, Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. A weekly discussion about the federal issues most important to Nevada. And now, from Washington, D.C., here's Marilee Joyce.
And good day to you. I'm Marilee Joyce, and this is Eye on Washington. It's the only statewide Nevada news program produced in Washington, D.C. Every week, Eye on Washington takes you straight to Capitol Hill for a discussion with Nevada's delegation and other leaders about the federal matters that matter to you. Today's topic, sunny skies over Reno tourism. What's being done in northern Nevada to keep growing those rising visitor numbers? And my very special guest today is Mr. Phil DeLone, the president and CEO of the Reno Spark Convention and Visitors Authority. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me as your guest, Marilee. It's a real delight to be with you today.
Thank you, sir. Well, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, my statewide audience might have laughed over predictions that Nevada's gaming and tourism industry would look so rosy today. But you've now seen and heard me recently talking with top industry leaders from Southern Nevada, giving us just that kind of good news. And today on Eye on Washington, we're going to look at Northern Nevada tourism and the current economy. We'll talk about growth galore happening among the area's resorts and events. We'll learn big news in the RSCVA effort to lure tourists from China. And we'll ask my guest what he thinks the congressional role is in promoting tourism to Nevada and nationally. The long-term future for Northern Nevada is really bright. Well, that's what my guest, Mr. DeLone, told Nevada Business Magazine last January. His happy predictions stem from news that hotel taxable room rate revenue in fiscal 2017-2018 was up 7.3%. So far, so accurate, too. The most recent report shows estimated visitor counts to the Reno Sparks Washington County area show great numbers for both January and February of this year. January saw 340,038 visitors to the region, while February bounded over that with almost 362,500. But that's not all the rosy news. Comparing every January and every February from 2009 to 2018, it shows us that the two winter months higher than every other January and February for the past decade. Mr. DeLone, first of all, welcome to Eye on Washington. It's a delight to have you here today.
Thank you.
You know, I've loved doing so many good news shows on gaming and tourism lately, you know, coming out as Nevada continues to emerge from the Great Recession. As I said, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, we wouldn't have predicted things would be this happy. But, you know, you've been with the authority for about a year and a half, but before that, I know you were with both the Safari Club and the Silver Legacy, and you lived through those painful years. I'll bet it's a lot happier getting up in the morning now, isn't it?
It is. I was with Silver Legacy for over 16 years, and all of Northern Nevada really suffered, as we all know, through the recession.
Sure.
And then in about 2013, the business climate started turning around. And I will say it's been a very bright and rosy picture today.
Sure.
That's been partially driven by an overall national economy that's strong. And also we've had a number of corporations move into the region from, especially from California.
Right.
In the last 5 years, we've had 400 to 500 companies come into the market. Some well-known names, of course, like Tesla and Panasonic, Switch and Rackspace Hosting, and many of those are household names. But we've had numerous companies that most people would never have heard of who are filling that high-tech niche. And I often say that Reno and Sparks and the whole destination is turning into the Silicon Valley of the High Sierras. Those folks are coming to our community because of Nevada's overall low tax base,
Sure.
Ease of doing business, our great cost of living, affordable housing, and a recreational climate that's unsurpassed really anywhere in the West.
You know, those businesses are happy, those business owners are happy, and of course your member resorts are feeling that same confidence that you're talking about. You know, we're going to talk more in detail in our next segment about kind of the Reno area tourism related expansion among your member resorts and the events as well. But overall, what is the attitude that you're seeing as far as resort and other tourism company leaders feeling good about investing in construction and growth right now?
I think the investment climate of our resorts in Northern Nevada is extremely positive. Northern Nevada has a mix of public companies such as El Dorado Resorts and also Monarch Gaming that are publicly traded firms and then we have a number of privately held properties as well. When you ask all of them, they consistently say that they are bullish on Northern Nevada's long-term health and growth. And we can go into this later, but you'll see that all of the resorts there have reinvested hundreds of millions of dollars collectively into their properties. And the destination and the resorts housed there all show very, very well today. You know, and
I know that you work hard to fill those resorts and you know, while the visitors to Northern Nevada no doubt fall in love with, you know, all the beautiful things the area has to offer, both in its casinos and the great outdoors. You know, getting here doesn't happen by magic. I know that the RSCVA does a whole lot to attract more and more business and leisure travelers every year. And one way is through your many regional offices, isn't it, throughout the country? We talked about this off camera before we started. And what's their role in helping fill those casinos and ski resorts and the other tourism offerings?
That's a great question. The community secures around 600,000 room nights a year of convention business. And what drives that business are our 8 regional offices throughout America. We have some of the best sales professionals that lead those offices, and their responsibility is to solicit the corporations and associations around the country that have conventions that come to Nevada, and then secure those for our hotels in the northern part of the state. We now have offices in Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Chicago, the Denver metropolitan area, Las Vegas, and 3 in the far west, Southern California, Sacramento, and the Northwest in Portland.
Helping fill those hotels and everything else.
Yes.
And it is a non-expanding resort. That might be the exception to the rule. We're going to tell you about growth galore in Northern Nevada. That great news is coming up right after this.
You're watching Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce, brought to you by Caesars Entertainment, the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, the Las Vegas Sands Corporation, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, NV Energy, Jim Marsh Automotive and Body Shop, the Rogich Communications Group, and Renown Health.
I have 3 tests next week. I'm going to be studying all weekend. Ugh. Are you studying tonight? We can meet up and study together. Oh yeah, that sounds good. What time? I work until 6. Okay, sounds good. Just text me after. Okay. No!
There is no text, tweet, or call that's worth a life.
One pedestrian death is one too many.
Look up.
And look out for each other.
Want more federal news that affects Nevada, its businesses, and its residents? Then you need to subscribe to Nevada's Washington Watch newsletter, your sole source of online news direct from Washington, D.C. Visit joycecommunications.com and subscribe today.
Planet Hollywood, Paris, Harrah's, Caesar's Palace. It's one of the most exciting skylines in the world, Las Vegas. Caesars Entertainment has nearly 50 casinos worldwide, including these. But no matter which casino you visit, we want you to play responsibly. And if you need help setting or keeping a limit, we hope you'll call this number. You see, we know you're coming to our casinos to have a good time, and we always want you to leave feeling like you did.
A family's presence in the hospital helps children heal faster and cope better. But children who need specialized medical care are often sent out of the Reno area for treatment. Costs can get unmanageable, and it can be difficult for families to accompany their sick child. The Travel for Treatment program, presented by Ronald McDonald House Charities Northern Nevada, gives parents travel assistance when a child's medical treatment is not available at a local hospital. Please contact us today for more information and to see how you can help. Donate online at rmhc-reno.org.
And welcome back to Eye on Washington, our look at the sunny news coming from Northern Nevada's gaming and tourism sectors. We've been visiting with our special guest today, Mr. Phil DeLone, the president and CEO of the Reno Sparks Convention and Visitors Authority. If you're a resort in Northern Nevada and you don't have construction going on all around you, well, you might be the odd man out. Here is just a handful of the capital investments occurring right now. Eldorado Resorts is putting $50 million of improvements into Eldorado Silver Legacy Circus, and the corporation has an additional $25 million going toward a new restaurant and full-service spa. The Nugget is investing $25 million, renovating meeting space, rooms, restaurants, and public spaces. The Grand Sierra has completed a multi-million-dollar renovation to its convention space and buffet and has remodeled its outdoor pool area. And the Hyatt Regency Lake Tahoe is investing in $5 million casino upgrade. Outdoor attractions and other events are making big news too. Interlake Market Week, which is committed to Reno Sparks Convention Center for 5 years beginning this fall. And Safari Club International returns to the region next January. But maybe even more exciting news to my guest, Mr. DeLone, is that for the first time in 17 years, we might be seeing a big expansion of the convention center, and I want to start with that latter. I know that RSCVA has authorized the Chicago-based Johnson Consulting firm, right, to do a feasibility study of such a project?
Yes, our current convention center is 600,000 square feet, and a number of our legacy accounts that meet with us on a consistent basis are growing. And our clientele has asked us to expand the convention center. We believe that adding 300,000 square feet of exhibition and meeting space will protect our business there. And also with that expansion, we'd be able to attract 80% of the trade shows that currently...
And a lot larger shows, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Larger conventions,
much larger shows. We'd
Sure.
be able to accommodate then up to 3,000 exhibit booths.
Wow.
And that would handle the majority of shows that go on in North America today. Our board has engaged Johnson Consulting of Chicago to do a feasibility study. That study will be ready in mid-June and will be presented to our board of directors as well as the Northern Nevada members of the Nevada Resort Association.
So back to growth in general. There was so much expansion, I couldn't get to it all here. A few more things, several new projects, two set to open at Sparks Marina. There's the Courtyard Marriott, which opened in 2016, and the reopened Renaissance, which invested multi-millions in improvements. Safari Club's return, also exciting. Your office told me it should fill 15,000 hotel rooms. Interbike should fill another 20,000 rooms each year. Is that right?
Yes. Safari Club International has met in Northern Nevada 20 previous times over the last 30 years.
Wow.
And they return for their 21st, 22nd, and 23rd celebrations starting this coming January.
Wow.
Interbike is the 66th largest trade show that happens in North America, bringing 23,000 people to us next September. They've committed for 5 consecutive years and have taken an option on another 5 thereafter. So we're looking forward to hosting those two and several others over the next few months.
You know, we're almost out of time, but I want to real quickly, in the last 30 seconds or so that we have, you know, inside the resorts, we got the resorts are growing, but there's a certain game that's expanding as well. It's appeal. You told the Nevada Business Journal that Baccarat is bringing in $69 million in annual revenue, that's growing, a lot more attraction to that game. Is that right?
Well, gaming numbers have been increasing in Northern Nevada, but today most casinos look to diversify their income streams, looking at food and beverage, entertainment, and guest rooms as the primary drivers of their businesses.
Okay. And coming up, the all-important foreign traveler and why my guest is especially focused on one nation. We're going to have details on his efforts there. That's just ahead.
Nevada's direct link to Capitol Hill. Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. The only statewide Nevada news show based in Washington, D.C. All the top federal matters that matter most to Nevadans. Marilee talks with our congressional delegation and other leaders about the federal news you need to know. Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. Nevada's Eye on Capitol Hill.
When you think RTC, what comes to mind? How about jobs? RTC road projects bring thousands of jobs to Washoe County, expanding and connecting northern Nevada, growing our local economy, providing a more secure future for our residents and their families. So when you think jobs, think RTC. Your RTC, the RTC of Washoe County.
We're not a miracle drug. We're not a technology. We're not doctors. Just the hope, which can often be the best cure of all. The Ronald McDonald House, a home away from home for seriously ill children and their families.
Planet Hollywood, Paris, Harrah's, Caesar's Palace. It's one of the most exciting skylines in the world, Las Vegas. Caesars Entertainment has nearly 50 casinos worldwide, including these. But no matter which casino you visit, we want you to play responsibly. And if you need help setting or keeping a limit, we hope you'll call this number. You see, we know you're coming to our casinos to have a good time, and we always want you to leave feeling like you did.
Safety. We all think about it. You think about it when he buckles in, when you check your mirrors and put away your phone. RTC thinks about safety too. In fact, we create it. Center turn lanes mean fewer blind spots. Bike lanes keep cyclists and you safe. Roundabouts reduce injury collisions, and all these crosswalks are designed to keep families like yours safe. Safety is your priority, and it's ours too. Every day, in everything we do.
And welcome back to Eye on Washington, our look at recent gaming and tourism news that is important to the Nevada economy. We've been visiting with our special guest, Mr. Phil DeLone, the president and CEO of the Reno Sparks Convention Visitors Authority. While visitor numbers are up and growing in the Reno Sparks Washoe region, my guest thinks one area of the globe could be a major source to really make those numbers soar. Outbound travel from China has rapidly increased in recent years. Last year, more than 127 million Chinese hit the roads and took to the air. That's the single largest number of travelers from any one country. It's estimated that by 2020, 200 million Chinese will travel each year. What matters to my guest is that more than 49,000 nonstop airline trips from China already land on our western shoreline each year, primarily in near Reno places like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle. So the RSCVA wants those business and leisure guests to check out the biggest little city, and my guest is being aggressive about getting them to the area. Last year, the RSCVA hired the firm Preferred Hospitality Group to represent Reno Tahoe in China. And Mr. DeLone, just the middle class in China equals right around the population of the entire United States. So even never minding the wealthier travelers, this gigantic group, just the middle class, is doing more and more business and leisure channel and travel, and you've really got your sights aimed at them, don't you?
Yes, we do. It's interesting. China is such a fascinating place. There's over 300 million people in the Chinese middle class, and they're all starting to travel. You're absolutely right about the statistics. Last year, 127 million Chinese hit the road. a number of those coming to the United States. Interestingly, it's 49,000 air seats a week into the West Coast, into Los Angeles, San Francisco, and the Seattle Northwest area. Many of those visitors have been seeing some of our national parks. They've been visiting obviously popular destinations like Las Vegas, but repeat visitors now want to explore other places in the West. We have Lake Tahoe. We have Virginia City, which is the classic western town of the old West. And those visitors from foreign lands, not only the Chinese but others, wish to see those beautiful, beautiful sites in the western part of the country.
So tell us what Preferred Hospitality's role is in all this. How are they helping you to attract those visitors here?
Preferred Hospitality Group is owned by Peter Huberoth made his mark with the Los Angeles Olympics. And that firm is very unique. They tend to represent international countries for tourism. Reno is really the first city destination they represent. But through PHG, we now have 5 offices in mainland China. Those offices package tourism packages that are then marketed to the Chinese citizen through travel agents, online booking engines, and airlines.
You know, we're running out of time in this segment, but you know, I wanted to say Preferred Hospitality, not only selling the Reno area to the Chinese consumers, but also advising Reno area resorts, hotels, owners, other attractions on how best to serve the needs of the Chinese visitor as well, correct? I had on Jacqueline Peterson and Carlos Lasane of LVCVA and Caesars, respectively, a couple months ago. And they mentioned, for instance, that Southern Nevada resorts have games, cuisine, culturally themed attractions and events. And Preferred Hospitality is sort of helping the resorts to do that as far as attracting the Chinese visitor as well, correct?
Yes, they're advising and educating our resort operators in Northern Nevada on how best to serve the Chinese visitor. For example, most Chinese carry a credit card, but it's not Visa or MasterCard or American Express. One of their most popular ones, China Union Pay. And yet a resort needs to set itself up through its banking operations
to be able to accept that?
To be able to accept Chinese Union Pay. Also, there are certain food items on the menus that the Chinese visitors likes to see. A teapot in the guest room. These are all simple things,
all cultural,
but they're all culturally driven. And our resorts need to identify that, respect those needs, and implement that for their visiting guest.
And when we return, what's needed from the delegation and the federal government to help keep gaming growing strong? I'm going to ask my guest what he thinks about that right after this.
Planet Hollywood, Paris, Harrah's, Caesar's Palace. It's one of the most exciting skylines in the world, Las Vegas. Caesars Entertainment has nearly 50 casinos worldwide, including these. But no matter which casino you visit, we want you to play responsibly. And if you need help setting or keeping a limit, we hope you'll call this number. You see, we know you're coming to our casinos to have a good time, and we always want you to leave feeling like you did.
Nevada's direct link to Capitol Hill. Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. The only statewide Nevada news show based in Washington, D.C. All the top federal matters that matter most to Nevadans. Marilee talks with our congressional delegation and other leaders about the federal news you need to know. Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. Nevada's Eye on Capitol Hill.
I dare you. I dare you to change the world. Yeah, you. Getting that college education. I dare you to be somebody important. Like be a teacher. Or a reality TV star. I dare you to stand up here. To call the shots. To be a role model.
An inspiration. An innovator.
To be a teacher.
Think you can change my life?
Make me excited about science like you. Have a career that really means something? Then do it. I dare you.
Are you studying tonight? We can meet up and study together.
Just text me after.
Okay. No!
There is no text, tweet, or call that's worth a life.
One pedestrian death is one too many.
Look up.
And look out for each other.
This girl is very pretty. It's inciting feelings of jealousy in me. We should pick on her.
I'm insecure about some things, so I think we should put some me stuff on here. Maybe even some lies, too.
Yeah. I just want to be accepted by you both. So I'm going to send this to my friends so they think I'm cool.
Kids bully for all kinds of reasons. None of them are good. Find ways to get involved at flipthescriptnow.org.
Want more federal news that affects Nevada, its businesses, and its residents? Then you need to subscribe to Nevada's Washington Watch newsletter, your sole source of online news direct from Washington, D.C. Visit joycecommunications.com and subscribe today.
And it's time for our closing segment of today's Eye on Washington. We've had as our very special guest today, Mr. Phil DeLone, the president and CEO of the Reno Sparks Convention and Visitors Authority. Well, we do a lot of shows on the gaming and tourism industry with our congressional delegation and with special guests like Mr. DeLone because there's nothing more important to the Nevada economy. And we cover federal efforts aimed at strengthening the industry, as well as efforts to battle legislation considered harmful to it. And that's why, Mr. DeLone, I always ask my gaming and tourism guests what they think the federal government should be doing and sometimes not doing in order to support gaming and tourism in Nevada and in general. What are your thoughts?
I think there's two primary things we should focus on through the coming year. The first is to make visa entry into the United States as simplified and easy as possible. We want to encourage visitors to come here. The second is to keep Brand USA strong. Brand USA is a marketing arm of the entire nation. Nevada is an integral part of that marketing arm. And there again, funding has been curtailed somewhat, needs to be strengthened because it's through Brand USA that we first touch those potential visitors to our great state.
And blessedly, our whole delegation supports Brand USA. We know that, right?
Yes, and we have a great delegation on Capitol Hill, and they're all wonderful Nevadans, and they're working hard to make our state prosperous.
That's right, that's right. Thank you so much for being here today. Look forward to having you on again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that does wrap up today's Eye on Washington. I hope you'll join us next time for another look at federal matters that matter most to you in Nevada. In the meantime, though, we're always here for you, providing all the federal news Nevadans need to know. Just go to our website, joycecommunications.com. While you're there, check out all the federal issues that impact Nevada. You can like us on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. Catch up with any shows you may have missed on our YouTube page. Thanks for joining us today on Eye on Washington. I'm Marilee Joyce in Washington, D.C. Have a great day today.
Thank you for watching Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce airs statewide in Nevada solely due to the generosity of our sponsors. Can your company help us continue our mission to remain Nevada's top source of federal news? If you can help us help Nevadans, please visit joycecommunications.com/WordPress/EOW sponsors and join us today. That's joycecommunications.com/WordPress/EOW sponsors.